So guys, welcome to this video today, and in this video I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can dissect your data at each stage of the marketing funnel. So I know we did a video in the last one about decoding your ads, but this one is just going to go that one step further so you can actually analyze if there is a bottleneck at certain points within your funnel that needs addressing, that needs changing, and ultimately it could be why your ads are not performing. So we actually have to look outside of the ads manager on this as well, but the data inside is going to tell us what's actually wrong. When you're actually analyzing your ads, I'm just going to pretend that this ad has got 0 purchases, and all that we have to look at this current time is the click-through rate, the cost per click, and maybe if we have some ads to carts. So what I would do by looking at this ad, let's just pretend that there are no sales, there are no conversions. I would go in and look at the click-through rate first. How is your ad being clicked through? Are we getting in, a good percentage of people that are clicked through on the ad, which shows actually intent? So we also want to look at the cost per click. Are people actually coming and clicking through on the website? And what is the cost for that? If we are actually having people clicking through on the website, it shows that the ad is obviously relevant towards them. And if people are actually showing intent on the ad, but we're not having, any ads to carts, checkouts, then there's going to be something wrong within your funnel. And one of the first things we need to look at is your website and your product page. Now, your website may need some optimization. Your ads are obviously sparking the curiosity, but there is no actual purchase intent here. So we need to actually look at our offers, pricing, our product positioning, and whether or not this page actually aligns with what we are saying in our ad messaging. Because if there's, not a direct correlation with, our ads, there's going to be some sort of imbalances here where people are going to the website and what you are saying in your ads doesn't actually align, with your website, anything like that, then you're going to see some big drop-offs. If we actually go to the ads manager here, let's say that, we're getting clicks through to the website, we're getting cost per clicks, we're getting ads to carts now, but not actual checkouts. So the way we can actually analyze this is actually through a few different metrics. Now, I usually don't add these metrics, but if we are, seeing some bottlenecks within our ads, then we can actually add these to, go that one step further. You can add as much metrics as you want. You can cloud all of your judgments, but at the end of the day, we want to simplify it, have the metrics there, which are ultimately telling us what's wrong with the ads. But if we go one step further, if we're not getting any sales and we can't literally dissect what's going on here, then we can actually add these metrics here. Now, the first one I would add is the cost per add to cart. And the second one is the cost per checkout. And in the middle, just have your checkouts as well. So if we can actually go into our ads here and look at our ads to carts, but we're not seeing any checkouts, and there may be some, massive differences between this. For an example, if our cost per add to cart is £4, but our cost per checkout, might be £30, it might be, way above that, then we know that within this stage of this funnel, there might be something in which is restricting the customer from going there. It could be, that the currency on your website is changing at the add to cart. It's, sending mixed signals to the customer. You may have some shipping protection that ultimately looks spammy. Your website may not even look trustworthy. So when we're looking at these metrics, we can then go in and decide that, right, if they are going to the ads to cart, we are getting a decent cost per add to cart, but then there is some massive friction here with the checkouts, then we understand that this customer is obviously adding to cart, but there may just be something here which is restricting them from, going ahead and making that purchase, going to checkout. So we need to actually look at our website, look at our pricing, look at all these different variables to understand which one is gonna, drive the key differences here. So this also takes into account with, our checkouts as well. And the same thing with purchases. If we have a massive imbalance with, we have a decent add to cart, cost per add to cart, decent cost per checkout, but then we're not simply getting any purchases, then we can come back into our website and basically look at, our shipping options. Are they causing people to drop off? Trust signals. Is there any last minute barriers that, preventing people from completing their purchase and, going through with that? So these are two, main key factors, metrics here in which you can look at and try and decipher exactly what stage of your funnel is going wrong. So with this example here, obviously we've got, quite a few purchases on here. We can understand that, we've got a decent cost per add to cart, and the checkout, it is a little bit more expensive, but that's perfectly normal and perfectly fine. There's no massive spikes here between prices. For an example, if this was £4 and this was, 50, 30 or anything like that. So that would indicate, something is wrong and we need to look at that. It's about analyzing, what's outside the ads manager on your website, because that is going to have the, the much more dramatic effect. This data is basically telling us what is wrong, and then we can go and figure out within our funnels, within our website, how we can change this, how we can optimize it to get the best results. So I hope this makes sense, and make sure to look at your data within your ads manager and make sure to look outside of that as well. It's simply a reflection of what this is telling us within our funnels. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.